Hello YouTube, anybody watching this anywhere really? This is just supposed to be my Fastlane predictions. So, if you want to know what's going to happen at Fastlane, then watch this video or the stream, depending on how you're watching it. I assume you're watching it as a video because nobody's watching it right now in the stream, which is A-okay, guys. But anyway, okay, so Fastlane's coming up. I'm going to be honest, haven't been watching Raw. Really haven't felt like there was any reason to. The actual streaming with Fidanza Gaming has kind of hindered that a little bit, but I'm going to do the best I can with what I have now. So we got Rich Swann and Akira Tozawa versus the Brian Kendrick and Noam Dar with Alicia Fox. I have no idea what's going on in this. Literally none. Okay, last I watched, Alicia Fox was with Cedric Alexander, who isn't even on the card, it looks like. Yeah, so I don't know what the hell happened here. If I was going to throw a guess out there, I heard they're pushing Akira Tozawa, sort of. But it's the pre-show, so I'm going to go with the faces, Rich Swann and Akira Tozawa. Really have no idea. It's a cruiserweight tag team match. Nothing's changed in the cruiserweight division, has it? Yeah. Then, sorry, I'm on Wikipedia on my phone. That's why I'm looking at my phone. Then we have Sami Zayn versus Samoan Joe. Okay, so Samoa Joe has to win, right? You would assume? I mean, he just debuted. Sami Zayn's basically the Chris Jericho of modern wrestlers. So, I'm putting money on Samoa Joe, but maybe he wins by DQ. I don't know. Maybe Seth Rollins comes back. I didn't watch Raw, so I don't know what his state is, so these are going to be some shitty-ass predictions. But yeah, I'm going with Samoa Joe. Then we have Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. There's like 3 matches on this card that I feel like the heel has to win. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, like every match on this card, I feel like the heel has to win because Smackdown's weird. So really, I don't feel confident about any of this at this point. I don't see why they'd have Nia Jax lose now, but I could see them doing it. I don't want to say Sasha Banks, because Sasha Banks really doesn't need the rub. But I could see them going, we need to reestablish Sasha, and giving her the win. So, I don't know. I would assume Nia Jax would win, but you can't have Bayley win or lose, and have Sasha lose. So, Sasha wins? Maybe? I'm leaning towards Sasha, to be honest. This card is really shocking, to be honest. We got Bayley versus Charlotte. Yeah, it's got to be Charlotte. I know. I don't want Charlotte to win either. I get if people were complaining in the chat. This is why. I get it. But there's just no changing this. You know that Charlotte's winning the belt back. Because of course she is. Unless she wins by DQ, then you go into WrestleMania with Bayley as champ, which serves no real purpose. So, unless Sasha takes the belt off her and that's what starts their feud, I don't fucking know. This looks like writers just took a shit. They had a dartboard, they were just throwing darts. They're like, oh, we're going to have Bayley fight Charlotte at the pay-per-view. But, I got no idea. I'm going to go with Charlotte by DQ. Maybe Nia Jax comes out. Actually, I'm leaning... No. Charlotte's winning the belt. For the record, though, this card not looking that good, to be honest. Banks, Jax will be a squash... Well, it won't be a squash match, but it'll basically be a squash match. Joe, Zayn, probably close to a squash match. Bayley, Charlotte, to be honest, I haven't really been digging either of their work on the main rosters. So... kind of mediocre right now. And then we got Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, The Club, versus Enzo and Big Cass. again, I don't get why they do this. Because realistically, if Enzo and Cass can win the tag titles, they should do it at Mania. But here's my gripe with that. We can't have every belt change hands at WrestleMania. So, like, Ryan and I, when we're at work, we debate what the WrestleMania card's going to be like. And legitimately, you think, if Randy Orton's in the title match, he's winning that, right? Right? It's Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt only loses at WrestleMania, so if Goldberg has the title, he's got to lose it to Lesnar, so that's 2 titles changing hands. The women's title's got to change hands on Raw. The tag team titles on Raw probably going to change hands. The Cruiserweight Championship's going to change hands. The U.S. might to Kevin Owens. The IC will go to Baron Corbin. That's 7 title changes. And I'm sorry, I don't see that happening. And frankly, the club losing the tag titles isn't that big of a story anyway. So either Enzo and Cass are going to win it now, or they're not going to win it at all right now. And by that I mean, like, they aren't going to win it at WrestleMania either. Because this is the one belt that really doesn't have to change hands. The story isn't that big for it. So I'm going to go against my gut and say Enzo and Big Cass are going to win. Because I can't imagine 7 title changes happening at one WrestleMania. Don't see it happening. But I could be wrong. Then we have Neville versus Jack Gallagher. Let's be frank here, guys. Jack Gallagher, while he's super amazing, probably the best cruiserweight they have. Maybe Brian Kendrick's better. Jack Gallagher has no chance of winning this. Like, I'd give him 1%, just because the whole mantra of you never know what's going to happen in WWE, but frankly, guys, how in the fuck would Jack Gallagher win this? On the plus side, though, it finally bucks the trend of the Cruiserweight division. See, after what, 5-6 months? Remember when TJ Perkins won it, his first real opponent was Brian Kendrick, who he lost it to. Then Brian Kendrick had it, retained against Perkins, and then the first real opponent he had was Swan. And then Swan retained it against the 2 of them, and then Swan lost to his first real opponent in Neville. So the Cruiserweight division has basically been in this holding pattern. And because of that, not entirely because of that, but it's definitely part of the reason why the Cruiserweights don't fucking matter. I hate to be blunt like that, but they really don't. So, Jack Gallagher, I love him. He's the most entertaining Cruiserweight I've seen. Legitimately, he might be one of the most entertaining guys on the roster. Just overall, Raw, Smackdown, it doesn't matter. So, Neville's winning this. I hope Gallagher wins, but it's not happening. Because you got to set up Neville and somebody else to have an actual meaningful Cruiserweight match. Unless they're going to do a Cruiserweight ladder match. At which point, you don't want Jack Gallagher holding the belt for 4 weeks, just like every other Cruiserweight champion who holds it for a month or 2 and then loses it. So, realistically, Neville's retaining here. So, I got nothing else to say about that. Then we have Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Yeah, as somebody who likes Roman Reigns, this match could not seem less exciting to me. I don't get it. Why they have to feed Strowman to Reigns. But then I sit down and think, well, they're not. But then what is Strowman doing at Mania? Because at least Reigns has like a set-up match with Taker. Strowman has nothing. So this feud ending here doesn't help him. I mean, it doesn't really hurt him. Well, it does hurt him. It hurts him a lot. Because there's no reason he should be taking his first real loss to Roman Reigns at Fastlane. And again, this is the issue I've had with modern WWE right now. Because so many people are so protected right now. And I get why they are, but there's just nothing you can do with any of them. Like right now, you can't have Charlotte lose. You can't have Jax lose. You can't have Strowman lose. You can't really have Reigns lose. You don't really want Owens to lose. You look up and down the card, and Samoa Joe. You look up and down the card and you're like, all I see is people who can't lose. They can't lose right now because they have to lose at Mania. It doesn't make sense. But Strowman, I don't think they're going to let Strowman lose here. So, and And for all the people saying Reigns is burying the tag team division, no, he's not. People really like blaming Reigns for this shit. But have you seen the tag team division on Smackdown? Where American Alpha is literally slaughtering teams, and just all of them? I say give American Alpha like a knife, and just once they beat a team, they can just slit their throat, because these tag teams are done. They're just tossed aside. Vaudevillains probably never winning a tag title. Hype Bros probably never winning a tag title. Freaking Ascension, bye-bye. Teams that could have had a chance to, now they have literally zero chance. Because the American Alpha's just burying him. At least with the club, yeah, Roman Reigns beat him 1-on-2, but he did it with a steel chair. American Alpha beat the Ascension after being beat up, after wrestling a match. So after 2 matches, a post-match beatdown, they beat the Ascension in 1 move. So, for all of you saying that Reigns is burying the tag team division, the fuck show are you watching? Because the tag team division literally does not matter right now on either show. And it has nothing to do with Roman Reigns. It has nothing to really do with American Alpha. It's just the bottom line. The WWE has spent the last 2 years trying to make every division matter. And the thing is, they can't. There's just no physical way to do it. Look back in time, and there was literally no time where every division mattered. Except for, what, the 80s? When there was 3 divisions? That's it! And think about that. Back in the 80s, at some certain points, I don't even think they had a women's division. Right now, if you really think about it, on Raw, they're trying to get cruiserweights over. They're trying to get mid-card over. They're trying to get the women over. They're trying to have a meaningful tag team division, main event, and mid-card. That's 6 divisions! You can't do it. You just can't. So the tag team division has suffered. And it has nothing to do with Roman Reigns, it has nothing to do with American Alpha, it has nothing to do with the tag teams themselves. It's just the fact that Vince has been going, we need to make women matter. We need to make the cruiserweights matter. We need to make the mid-card matter, because people want the US title mean shit. And none of them mean anything anyway. This is what I don't like about wrestling fans. One of the multiple things I don't. Because frankly, I love wrestling, I love talking about wrestling, but sometimes wrestling fans get really biased, and it kind of pisses me off, to be honest. Because frankly, guys, it doesn't matter what happens to the tag champs. Okay? Because if Enzo and Cass can't beat them, then of course they can. All it takes is Enzo being pinned. Because that's their dynamic. But I'm rambling really long on this. Point of the matter being, Roman Reigns did not bury the tag team division, and frankly, Roman Reigns very well might lose. So, I don't think they're going to give him the victory, because Strowman hasn't been built that dominantly for that long. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Strowman, but then you look and you're like, that's another heel winning. And right now that seems to be all I'm coming up with is heels. So, I don't think the heels are going to win. Because not all the heels can win before Mania. Storylines have to end before then. In which one you would assume Reigns would win. But then you look and you're like, what does Strowman do? So I don't know. I don't know. So many of these matches, I look at them and I'm like, I don't know what the dynamic is in these feuds. But I can't imagine that they're going to have nothing but heels winning at Fastlane. So pick Reigns. I don't think Reigns is going to win, but I'll pick him. Why not? And then we have the main event, and don't even get me started on this stupid main event, because we have Kevin Owens, we have Goldberg. Frankly, how we in any way could see Kevin Owens lasting any length of time, really, with Goldberg, I don't know. And this is why months ago I complained about Brock Lesnar, and I'll continue to complain about him, but Goldberg is now 4 notches above Lesnar. Lesnar was already 4 notches above John Cena, who's already 2 notches above everybody else. So there's nothing. There's no believability here. If Owens wins, then it doesn't make sense. If he lasts more than 2 minutes, it doesn't make sense. Frankly, it won't make sense either way. I try to think about it, and I'm like, maybe Owens will jump him, But here's the issue with that, because if Owens retains, that means we're seeing another world title change hands at WrestleMania. For what reason? None. So you can see Lesnar with the belt? No. Frankly, I look at this match and I go, it has to be Goldberg. And in the next breath I go, well, Owens theoretically has more ability to retain here, because you figure you're going to have Samoa Joe come out, you're going to have Triple H come out, you're going to have Chris Jericho come out. But at the same point, Goldberg beat Brock Lesnar in a minute and a half. So if Owens lasts any length of time for any of that shit to go down, then Lesnar looks like a bitch ass. So I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I'm going with Goldberg, and the thought of it sickens me, to be honest, because frankly he doesn't deserve it. I don't care what the crowds chant. I don't care if he's over, because he shouldn't be over. Because again, as I mentioned earlier, wrestling fans, we're really stupid. Because we'll complain if somebody like Reigns hits a rocket push. Goldberg literally never could wrestle. Never. And we're fine with just slapping the biggest belt we have. Well, realistically, the third biggest belt we have on him. For what reason? Who knows? But, might as well. It's stupid. It makes no sense. Goldberg shouldn't even be near the main event picture. But here's the issue, because Goldberg versus Lesnar is a draw. It is. I don't know why it is. Again, wrestling fans are stupid. But Owens-Jericho will not be a draw. Like, it has storyline built into it, and I feel like it has the potential to be a good match. And realistically, it probably should be for the Universal title, because this storyline's been building since fucking August. But it's not going to happen. We're going to have this match for the U.S. title. That's why they had to take the belt off Reigns. Yay. You see how stupid that sounds? Think about this for a second, okay? Literally, right now, Kevin Owens is your Universal Champion. Supposed to be your A or B World Champ. And at WrestleMania, he's going to be fighting for the U.S. title. He's going to drop down like 4 or 5 notches. Which means, if that match happens, he won't have a rematch against Goldberg. Which means, hell, he might not even have a match for the Universal title from Lesnar. So, he's just going to get shoved down the card. He was literally a transitional champion, guys. Why you aren't mad about that, I don't get. Because frankly, this title reign has been one of the worst title reigns I can remember. Like, really. He's had time with the belt, and it hasn't mattered. It really hasn't. Literally, every title defense was completely bullshitty. Every retain was because of Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was basically the bigger star every single week. It just... And we're going to cheer for this. We're going to be okay with him fighting for the U.S. title. Why? If you like Kevin Owens, you should be mad. Just like how I like AJ Styles, and I'm mad that they handed the belt off to Cena so Cena could lose it to Bray Wyatt, so Bray Wyatt could lose it to Randy Orton. Wrestling fans, we are really stupid. And I don't say that like to target anybody in particular. Because we all are. I don't know why we run with no logic behind what we're doing. But it's really bad. Sorry, my computer keeps giving me messages about how it's going to crash. But it hasn't crashed yet. So I'm going to keep ranting. I figured what I do, being is I knew this wouldn't take too long. And I've rambled, and it's still only been like 20 minutes, I think. Is because it's a live stream, I figured I'd give you guys something to talk about in the chat if people were here. And so what I came up with was you don't always need a direct payoff to everything. So hear me out, okay? When The Undertaker lost his streak, people defended the actual loss on, well, he needed to lose at WrestleMania or there would be no payoff. And frankly, it's bullshit. And it took me a bit to realize this. It did. But it makes no sense. I want you guys to seriously sit down and think about this for a second, okay? Undertaker, with his streak, helped sell out WrestleMania year after year. That was the payoff! He got over. He stayed over. He was able to continue wrestling for many more years. Granted, I mean, they're still going to let him wrestle, but there were payoffs. He didn't have to lose. He could have ended his career without losing at WrestleMania. Because people would still show up and go, man, I wonder if Bray Wyatt's going to be the person to beat him. And then Bray Wyatt would lose. Oh, man, I wonder if Shane McMahon's going to... if Shane's going to beat him. And Shane would lose. You don't need a direct payoff. I say this, it really came to my mind when The Miz started mocking Daniel Bryan. People kept saying, WrestleMania, The Miz versus Daniel Bryan. And God, is a misfit for almost a decade now. Think about that, a decade. Okay. Literally, I'd be okay with that. But, here's my gripe. Because no matter how much of a safe worker Miz is, even if you guys don't want to believe it, because you're always like, he can't wrestle. But dumb fucks, he always wrestles. He never has to put on a 5-star match. Granted, his match with Dolph Ziggler, he carried Dolph Ziggler to a good match. Dolph fucking Ziggler. I'm getting sidetracked, though. No matter how much of a fan of him I am, there's no point in risking Daniel Bryan's health for that. Now you're like, well, why was he mocking him? Why was he doing this? Why was Daniel Bryan mocking him? Unless there's a storyline being built to later down the line. But, remember, we don't need a direct payoff. He is taking the over Daniel Bryan still had, and he's sucking it up and turning it into heel heat. He's using it. Just like how I said, The Undertaker didn't need to lose. The Miz does not have to wrestle Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Because there are indirect ways to get the reward out of these things. Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if he could. But it's not going to happen. And that's fine. Wrestling fans who are complaining about that, you're idiots. Because just like when you guys wanted Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, and I kept saying everywhere, no, you have that match. Daniel Bryan could very well die, guys. There's no point in doing that. Lesnar is historically stiff. I was about to say historically and notoriously. He's both. Historically stiff. Okay? And Daniel Bryan had neck issues. That made me mad. Oh, he's got to win the the WWE title at WrestleMania. Can't be Roman Reigns. I'm getting sidetracked way too much today. But yeah, we don't need a direct payoff. Sometimes having an indirect payoff is just as helpful as having the direct payoff. Because right now, The Miz is so much over. I've heard people who hate The Miz say it would be fine if he would have won the Royal Rumble. They would have been okay with Cena-Miz at WrestleMania. Again, knowing that the match probably wouldn't be that good. But they understand that The Miz was so over. He still is. But that's about all I have to say about that. If you've watched the video, thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. For real, if you stuck around for the 30 minutes-ish I ranted, please subscribe, because hopefully I'll be doing this again Sunday, directly after Fastlane. So I'll be watching Fastlane. Nothing's standing in my way. It's a pay-per-view. No matter what, WWE can't goof a pay-per-view up. They just can't. And if it sucks, I'll be on here ranting. If it's good, I'll be on here ranting. If I don't watch it, I'm going to be on here ranting. I'll be reading the results to you guys like, oh, motherfucking Braun Strowman beat Roman Reigns. And you're going to love it. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you stuck around, make sure you do the same, because it's really helpful. And I guess I'll try to make a more scheduled streaming time. Maybe then people will actually watch. But thanks for watching. Peace out.